Did you know that poor documentation and lack of inventory management can cost companies thousands of dollars in lost productivity? As an IT support technician, your job isn't just fixing problems, it's also about ensuring operational efficiency. In this video, we'll show you the essential operational procedures you need to master, from network documentation and company policies to inventory management. Ready to become the backbone of your IT team? Let's dive in. Operational procedures. In this course, we're going to talk mainly about procedure. The job of a support technician is not just about troubleshooting and solving problems. There is a whole procedural mechanism to know to pass the exam, but also to do the job of computer technician. Here we will mainly talk about operational procedures. That is to say, that you need to know good commercial practices to ensure continuity of service. We will focus on 3 types of operational procedures and service continuity, with the documentation, change management, as well as prevention and resumption of activity. Documentation. Companies need documentation to be able to ensure continuity of service and manage their own structure. There are all kinds of documentation, but the ones that interest the new technician are network documentation, company policies, and inventory management. We will therefore detail different types of documentation, network documentation, and we start with the network documentation, which provides a detailed diagram of the network for all technicians who need to make modifications or even repairs. So even if it is rather the system and network administrators who take care of the supervision, support technicians carry out a large part of the implementation of corrections. It is therefore important to know how to read the diagrams that represent the different topologies of the network, even if your job is that of a support technician and not that of a network administrator. You will therefore need to understand the topology of the company in which you work to be able to provide documentation of the incidents you encounter. Network topology. The network topology makes it possible to provide a map representing all the company's IT equipment. We can see the following depicted: switches, routers, Wi-Fi access points, the servers, even the workstations. In general, when a company maps its network, they use Cisco icons, because let's say that it's a universal visual that most people know. Knowledge base. Documenting also helps to enrich the company's knowledge base. Documentation not only creates cooperation between employees, but also coordinates the various departments. At the level of the support technician, the documentation makes it easier to troubleshoot the various problems that may be encountered. A company's knowledge base is a set of documents that tell the entire history of the equipment that is used. That is to say, that it lists not only all the problems encountered, but also the solutions that have been put in place to solve them. It is therefore an essential tool for support technicians in order to save considerable time on troubleshooting. And the sooner you can help out, the sooner you can have a coffee with your colleagues. Incident documentation. Documenting incidents on the various problems you encounter allows you to help your colleagues the day when they will face an already known problem. For example, let's say the company has 5 identical laser printers spread across multiple departments, and one of them starts crashing regularly after printing 5,000 pages. Well, if you keep documentation of this problem, by adding the solution, you could anticipate the problem on other printers before it reaches the same level of use. Company policies. Let us now move on to the politics of the company. So, don't worry, it has nothing to do with elections or company unions. Every company has certain rules that employees must follow to be compliant with the functioning of the different processes. This type of company policy includes regulatory compliance, usage policies, and the one which are related to passwords. And this is what we will detail right away. Regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance is about ensuring safe work environments, but also about avoiding overexploiting employees. All these rules make it possible to manage the different workplaces, the employees, and the equipment. Large companies are very fond of all these rules, which allow them to maintain a pleasant working environment. Acceptable Use Policies, AUP. Let's move on to the Acceptable Use Policy, which outlines what employees can and cannot do with company assets. For example, it is in this policy that it is written that the company computer should not be used for personal purposes, or that you should not go to illegal websites from the company's PCs. This is a very detailed and specific document which all employees must sign before being hired. Password. And the last company policy that we are going to see concerns passwords. It is in this documentation that the aspects of creating, using, and managing passwords are described and how to use them. Here is an example of what this password policy may contain. The length and complexity of the password. For example, a length of 12 characters containing at least one uppercase, one number, and one special character. How to choose your password. That is to say, to avoid a sequence of numbers that repeat or follow each other, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. And you can also have the obligation to use multiple authentications. For example, password and email validation. Inventory management. Before we end the course, we're going to talk about inventory management. These are the support technicians who take charge of inventory management to protect the company's assets. In other words, they are the ones who are responsible for placing labels or barcodes on the computer equipment. Barcodes. To manage the stock, it can be done by barcode. These are simple stickers on which barcodes are printed with numbers and symbols. The barcode is like a digital fingerprint for an item. It is a binary code, which can be easily scanned. The problem with this type of marking is that you don't add data or information, RFID tags. That's why there is another marking solution, which is RFID radio frequency identification tags. Here, the label can be tracked using the wireless network protocol. And with this type of technology, it is possible to include a whole lot of information in the label. And unlike the barcode, here, the information stored there can be updated without any problems. It is important to know that the energy that the label will need to work will be provided by the signal of the scanner.